Death didn't wait. The body was wrapped and placed in the tomb. Now 4 days passed. Finally, Jesus arrived. In their grief and disappointment, the sisters responded, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died." When Martha and Mary sent word to Jesus concerning Lazarus' illness, they were confident that their master would do something about it. And I can only think about a scenario that came to my mind. When I am sitting in the office one morning, I get a call from my daughter's school. "Is this Leanne's dad?" I said, "Yes." "Come fast to the school. Your daughter is very sick." I'm just giving you an analogy. What if I just got a message, I just ignored it, I didn't do anything about it? What if I stayed in the office for the rest of the day and came back in the evening as if nothing had happened? Does my actions show that I love her? No. What I would do is this. The moment I get the message, I'll just stop all my work, rush to school, and do whatever possibly I can do for her. Because I love her and I care for her. Verse 36 to 37. People around this family also responded. "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Why did Jesus choose 2 days, 2 more days, when he heard Lazarus was sick? We read in verse 5, Jesus loved Martha and her sister Mary and Lazarus. So when he heard that Lazarus is sick, he stayed where he was 2 more days. Notice the explanation given there. The reason for his delay was love. Why would love prompt Jesus to stay or wait instead of rushing to Lazarus' side? Verse 4, we read like this. Jesus said, "This sickness will not end in death, but is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it." I would say like this. It was more loving to put Lazarus through death and their sisters to grief, if that would reveal more of glory of God for them and more of Christ's glory. Jesus knew that this sickness, Lazarus is going to, the result of the sickness is death, but that is not the end. He wanted Mary, Martha, and his disciples and Lazarus to experience something that would completely change them from that day forward. To heal Lazarus or to heal his sickness is just another miracle. But to raise him from the dead is the supernatural miracle. Let's also read verse 14 to 15. Jesus said to his disciple, "Lazarus is dead, and for your sake I am glad I was not dead, so that you may believe." Jesus' delay led to Lazarus' death, which led to Jesus' miracle, rising Lazarus up from the dead, which led to the faith. Moving on, notice the dialogue between Jesus and Martha, verse 22 to 24. Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha answered, I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? Notice there, for Martha, the resurrection is an event that's going to happen at the last day. But Jesus is correcting Martha by saying, no, it's not an event. It's me. I am the resurrection and the life. He's saying, let me be specific, Martha. I'm exactly what Lazarus needs and what you need. He is dead and you are alive. Whoever believes in me will live even though they die. Verse 25, and that's for Lazarus. Whoever lives by believing in me will never die. That's for you. Verse 26. Lazarus is dead and I will raise him from the grave. You live and believe in me so that you will never die. Now we are moving on to the next part of the story in verse 38 to 44, where the village of Bethany is going to witness the greatest miracle that ever happened in that village. First thing I wanted to point out is the Lazarus tomb. When Jesus came to Lazarus' tomb, he said, with all authority, take away the stones. When the people standing there saw this, they were probably wondering, what was going to happen here? Lazarus had been dead for 4 days, and the body was already decaying in the tomb. So they must have thought, what can Jesus do here? The other thing is the way Jesus calls Lazarus. This is similar to the house in the morning. I'll give you another analogy. One by one, I go to each one's rooms and wake them up in the morning. When I do this, I know they're going to hear my voice. And I have no doubt about that. I'm sure that they're sleeping. And they're going to hear my voice. So I have no uncertainty, I have no doubt in doing that. Here, what we see here is Jesus is standing at the opening of the tomb. But he did not seem like he was about to call forth a dead person. He seemed as though he was just going to wake him up. That's what we saw. That's what we read in the beginning of this chapter. And seeing this, Martha was trying to interrupt Jesus. She's saying, Jesus, Lord, by this time there is a bad order, for it has been there for 4 days. Now Jesus had to remind Martha one more time, just believe and you will see the glory of God. Now moving on to the prayer, Jesus prayed in verse 41 to 42. Jesus looked up and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me. And also verse 43, Jesus called him in a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. Lazarus came out. He said, take off the grave clothes and let him go. What a power and authority over death. One thing I want to touch on here is the imminent response of Lazarus to Jesus' calling. Lazarus did not wait even for a second to come out of the tomb. The moment he heard the voice of Jesus, he started walking out of the tomb. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51 to 52, it says that we will not all sleep, but we will all be changed in a flash, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed. In the same way that I see here is that when Lazarus heard the voice of Jesus, he could not wait for a second. In my imagination, I would say this. He did not even have time to take off his grave clothes inside the tomb. He has to start walking. We have seen a remarkable story of the resurrection of Lazarus. Many of us have read this many times and familiarized with the story. And we all agree that raising Lazarus from the dead is a supernatural story or a miracle. But I wanted to focus on what here is not the miracle itself, what Jesus accomplished through this miracle. First thing is, Lazarus' sickness and the death brought glory to God the Father and His Son. If you read verse 4, there we can see that. People witnessed a supernatural miracle. A dead man responding to the voice of God, even when his body was decaying in the tomb. By doing this, is proved that he is really the Son of God. And people saw this miracle, have put their trust, or they believed in Jesus. Second, Jesus made his disciples and the family of Martha much stronger in faith. Third, Jesus wanted them to know that he is the resurrection and life, that he has power over death. This is important, that they know this about him when they see his lifeless body in the tomb not long after. Lastly, Jesus' ultimate purpose of coming to the world was accomplished partly through this miracle. How did he accomplish this? When Lazarus was raised, the religious leaders no longer had any excuse to reject Jesus. We read that in verse 47 to 53, there we read that after Lazarus was raised from the dead, they all came together. Verse 47 says, then the chief priests and the Pharisees called a meeting of the Sanhedrin. What have we accomplished? They asked. Here is the man performing many signs. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him, and then the Romans will come and take away both our temple and our nation. Verse 49, then one of them named Caiaphas, who was the high priest that year, spoke up. You know nothing at all. You do not realize that it is better for you that one man die for the people than the whole nation perish. He did not say this his own, but as a high priest of that year, he prophesied that Jesus would die for the Jewish nation. And not only for that nation, but also for the scattered children of God, to bring them together and make them one. So from that day on, they plotted to take his life. Believers, what can we learn from this remarkable story that can be applied to our lives? There are many spiritual lessons that we can take away from this miracle. One is, Ephesians 2 reminds us that we are like Lazarus. We were like Lazarus. Verse 1 says, you were dead in your transgressions and sins. And verse 6 says, and God raised us up with Christ and seated us with them in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus. What a wonderful privilege. Secondly, Lazarus' sisters were hopeful that their brother is going to rise again on the last day. But Ephesians again reminds us that chapter 2 verse 12 says, we were without hope and without God in the world. That shows us our hopeless state. Like Lazarus, we got a new life in Christ. It is extremely important that how we perform in this new life. So what are our responsibilities? We saw two miracles in the beginning. Remember the teenage girl got something to eat? We must feed on His word. The widow's son began to talk. So we must talk to God in prayer. Third, the Lazarus began to walk. We must walk daily with our Lord. Note in John chapter 12, 1 and 2, 1 to 3, a dinner was given in Jesus' honor, where Martha served, Mary worshipped, and Lazarus was fellowshipping with Jesus, reclining at the table. Before we conclude the message, let me ask this question. I don't know your situation, but are you in difficult trial? Like Martha and Mary, you feel like God is delaying too much to answer your prayer or your need? Can you trust God even when the answer is delayed? Remember the story of Lazarus. Your situation could not be any worse than this. Trust that God has a purpose in your trial, that He will bring glory to Himself through it. Remember that Lazarus was just an instrument in God's hand to fulfill His purpose. Jesus used Lazarus' sickness, His death, and His resurrection to bring glory to God, led many people to Christ, to make Jesus' disciples and Martha's family stronger in faith. Whatever problems we go through, God has a master plan in that He will take glory. If we allow the Master's plan to be our master plan of our life. We looked at 3 people whom Jesus raised from the dead. One died when Jesus was on His way to her house. Second one was in a bier and being carried out to the tomb when Jesus met. And third one was in the tomb for 4 days. All 3 heard the voice of the one declared, I am the resurrection and the life. No matter how young or old we are, we all are going to face or experience death if Lord tarries. The question is, when you die, do you fully expect that your next conscious experience will be hearing the voice of Jesus calling you by your name? I'm going to end this message here. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 16 says, For the Lord Himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. After that, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so we will be with the Lord forever. The voice echoed in the ears of these people 2,000 years ago is going to echo in our hearts very soon. For those who are waiting in expectation very soon. He is going to come down from heaven with a loud command, Godley, wake up. You can fill in your name there. Before we close, shall we all rise up to sing this song, On that bright and cloudless morning, and the dead